For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Tragedy has hit St. Lucia yet again, and it's a customs officer who has been shot in the process. As we say hello, welcome to another edition of NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. I'll be hearing from you in just a moment at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And you can start to send us your messages in the chat room, get the discussion going. Kimani will be doing the vetting and she will be reporting on the contents. Yes, there's been another shooting, but it's not an individual who is from some depressed community or ancillary or your four show or at Mondidon behind the school there or in Soufre or in V4. It is a customs officer who has been shot and injured. I'm told that he is at hospital right now in a stable condition. This incident occurred just before 5 o'clock while the customs officer was on his way to his home. The incident occurring at Moshi. We are told that about 6 shots were fired and the police are conducting their investigations. The circumstances surrounding that shooting, I don't know the details. I don't know anything regarding the circumstances. But this customs officer, I'm told, is a professional. And people are casting aspersion. If you read on social media, people are coming to all kind of conclusions. Let us not rush to any kind of conclusion at all, because the possibilities are limitless. Allow the police to conduct the investigation. I'm told that this customs officer has been in the service for a little over 2 decades. Just a little over 2 decades. I'm told that he is an exemplary individual. Also, I am told that more people could have been hurt. Let us imagine this customs officer was accompanied by his wife, or if it was a school day, let's say his children. What would have been the situation then? What would have been reported today as we continue to record homicide after homicide in St. Lucia? Close to 50 homicides. This is very alarming. This is not unfortunate, but unacceptable. This ought not to be tolerated. It cannot be business as usual for any one of us in this country. Because we have a situation where criminal elements are in total control of our lives in this country. They determine whether you want to go out and have a good time or not. They are determining how long you stay out. In some instances, they're determining how you execute your duties, how you function in various fields of endeavor. And it would appear they are operating with impunity. They are emboldened by certain things, by our posture, by certain things we say, our behavior, because we are so divided while they are acting in unison. They appear to be powerful, while we, on the other hand, appear to be useless and also helpless. Because it would appear we do not have the laws, the regulations in place as the required response to deal with this carnage that's happening in our society. We don't have the personnel to respond to it adequately. And again, I have to make reference to COVID-19. We had a response. We came up with various mechanisms. We put in place various measures. But right now, we have a crime pandemic on our hands, and it appears we cannot do anything about it. Now, you don't get a sense in St. Lucia that people are so frustrated by what is happening. Maybe you are suffering in silence. But just speak to St. Lucians who are living overseas, St. Lucians who are working overseas, St. Lucians who attend a conference or two beyond the shores of our country. And they are being asked, what is going on in your homeland? Because as much as the powers that be would want us to keep things under wraps, would not want us to report on those shooting incidents. In this case, thank God for social media. Not that we want to besmirch the character of our nation, but it's that in this case, the information is filtered, it spreads on its own, it goes viral. So you can't blame any one person for the bad news that is being disseminated beyond the shores of St. Lucia, and it's painting our country in a bad light. We have stigmatized a number of our Caribbean brothers and sisters over several decades. Do you think we'll reach the point very soon when we travel to certain Caribbean territories where you say, or when you say you're from St. Lucia, it will not be the land of the Pitons or Derek Walcott or Arthur Lewis, the land of criminal activity and the failure of the authorities to deal with crime. Talking about the authorities. They're on the defensive. In particular, the Prime Minister of this country, saying that some people are politicizing crime. And I read somewhere where somebody wrote that, why those politicians in power are not accusing people of politicizing healthcare, because we complain about healthcare so much. You go to the EU hospital, and quality of the service there is less than satisfactory for whatever reason. I don't want to blame it on manpower, shortage of manpower, anything at all. We don't know. But what we know for a fact is that the service being provided at our various health institutions is less than satisfactory. And we've been complaining for thousands of years now. But no one would claim that you are politicizing healthcare. You complain about agriculture, the fact that we have not been able to diversify the agricultural sector. No one is saying you're politicizing agriculture. Education, no one. But as soon as you touch crime, you're politicizing crime. And when those same people are in opposition, they accuse the government of the day of being inefficient, of being incompetent, of not caring about the people and their welfare and their safety. And that's okay. When they get into office, they want to get some kind of preferential treatment. When you say, crime is our business. A customs officer is being targeted by an individual or individuals, and we speak about it. We politicizing crime. We are saying that if customs officers can be targeted, if a police officer could have been shot and killed, you're saying we're politicizing crime? What we're saying is, as was said by a government minister recently, we are afraid. We are very, 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 very afraid. And those who are hiding in their offices, those who for whatever reason do not want to speak out as far as this worsening crime problem is concerned, very soon they'll not have a choice in the matter. They will have to speak their mind, probably will have to take to the streets, demonstrate, protest, so that those in authority can realize that the situation is not getting serious. It is horrible. And definitely there is need for us to tackle this problem now, right now as we speak. So we have an individual who is the Prime Minister of this country. He's not the leader of the opposition. And if he were the leader of the opposition, you know Mr. Philip Japierre very well what he would be saying today. But he's not the leader of the opposition. He's not an opposition politician. He's not just the MP for Castries East. He is the Prime Minister of this country. He is the Finance Minister. He is the National Security Minister. And amidst everything that is happening, if you were to call for him to give up the national security portfolio because on the evidence it's just too much for him, he's overwhelmed, he takes offense. But what do you expect people to say? If you are overwhelmed, if you're underperforming, if the stats do not look good under your stewardship, if the average, your batting average is dismal, if you're bowling so many no balls, if you are dropping so many catches, what do you expect? Are you saying that you are the only individual amidst what is happening at this time who can be the island's national security minister? Are you saying that, for example, you cannot sacrifice one of the parliamentary secretaries, somebody in the Ministry of Education, or somebody in the Ministry of Tourism, and bring in an expert through the Senate to be the island's national security minister. Because I don't know how this can be impressed upon you, Mr. Prime Minister, National Security Minister, that what is being done at this point in time as far as the safety of the country is concerned, those things are not working. We need long-term measures, yes, but we need an immediate response to the calamity that is taking place in our country. It is rendering our nation right now ungovernable. Who is to say? It is not logical, it is not realistic, it is not appropriate to recommend that we scale down our national carnival events. Scale down because the environment is just not conducive for those social activities. We want to wait for there to be another drive-by shooting in some other area, putting the police resources under further strain for us to realize that there's need for us to take drastic action just because you have your own security detail. You have at your disposal the entire Royal St. Lucia Police Force as far as your security is concerned. Can customs officials and officers say the same thing? Ordinary citizens in our country, can they say the same thing? How do you believe customs personnel, customs officers are feeling right now? Demoralized? You have to feel demoralized. A colleague, a comrade has been shot. You don't know under what circumstances, but it is a crime. And you have to ask yourself, who is next? Or maybe because you're just too proficient at your job. That is why your colleague was targeted. You don't know, but that is a distinct possibility. In the meantime, let us hear from the Prime Minister of this country. Prime Minister, a national security minister, instead of focusing on what is happening on the ground, instead of focusing on the mayhem that is taking place in the country, he has all the time in the world to make reference to the opposition and to make reference to his critics. Those things right now do not matter.
There are people who are deliberately politicizing crime and trying to blame crime on the Prime Minister. And that's deliberate, it's political, it's mischievous, but there is something that's somewhere in the good book that says the bed, how you make your bed is how you sleep. I'm warning that if we continue to divide this country because the United Workers' Party lost the election and it can't accept that they were rejected by the people of St. Lucia. But if we continue to divide this country just for the basis of trying to win an elections, this country is going to suffer.
I think the Prime Minister has not accepted the fact. He has not accepted the fact that the United Workers' Party has lost the last general election. That's what the Prime Minister has not accepted. And you must accept that, Mr. Prime Minister. People are running scared. People are concerned about their safety. And you're only preoccupied with the United Workers' Party and your critics. The Prime Minister also speaks about another issue. And I think I'll leave that one for a little later, I'll leave that one for a little later. But somehow you get the impression that St. Lucians who are living overseas, they have gotten a sense of what is wrong with our country. They have a better grasp of what is wrong with St. Lucia because they have been living overseas. They're very intolerant to people making excuses and public officials being incompetent and unprofessional, and the ease of doing business is a cause for serious concern. They will just not tolerate that. Now, we're not saying that there isn't crime in a number of other countries, the United States, the UK, Canada, etc. But you don't hear those kind of comments coming from the leaders of those countries. Those people take responsibility. They take their jobs seriously. I mean, a governor, a senator, you name it. Those people take their job seriously and they know that they owe their constituents proper representation. But in the case of St. Lucia, the Prime Minister believes that you owe some kind of loyalty to him. You owe some kind of loyalty to his government, irrespective of the poor performance. And let us hear from this female caller to NewsSpin yesterday, calling from overseas. She spent some time in St. Lucia, very disappointed.
Timothy, I was in St. Lucia for 15 days. I came back. I came back to the States on Wednesday last week.
Mm-hmm.
And Timothy, I am not coming back to St. Lucia. I'm still not coming back.
Well, not in a hurry. Don't say you're not coming back.
I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. Timothy, it is impossible to do business in St. Lucia. Impossible. I went to a particular bank. It took me 2 to 3 hours to close an account. 2 to 3 hours to close an account. I went to another one to open an account, and I was asked for everything except my blood type. I went to a bank to cash 500 US. 500 US, not much money. I'm being asked for 2 forms of ID. For what? 2 forms of ID, my passport and my driver's license. I have my driver's license. My passport I don't walk with. I leave it somewhere safe. Why do I need 2 forms of ID to change $500 at the bank, or I need to have a bank account? Why? And nobody can answer that question. I kept asking why. Well, if you don't have your passport, then you need to show your plane ticket. Plane ticket? We're in the 21st century. You don't have a plane ticket anymore. You have a boarding pass on your itinerary. This is St. Lucia for you. And nobody says anything. Everybody just sits back and deal with this nonsense.
St. Lucian living overseas calling the broadcast to complain following her stay in St. Lucia recently. Let's hear from you right now. At 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Good afternoon to you, Kimani. Anything worth reading from the chat room?
Good afternoon, Tim. Yes, we do have a few comments in the chat room. Someone says, we are extremely concerned and embarrassed. Imagine promoting your country to the point of boasting about it, and now you have to bend your head in shame. Another comment, afternoon, Timothy. What you have joined the others by not saying the exact number. It's 50 plus, I guess referring to homicides.
Well, what I have officially is 47 homicides. That's what I have officially. But people are calling me and saying that there have been a number of people who have either been shot or injured. They would have gone to the hospital to convalesce over a period of time, a week, 2 weeks. They would succumb to the injuries, and that would not be added to the number of homicides. I don't know that to be a fact, so I'm still working on it to verify.
Mm-hmm. Another comment, listening to the various speeches in the House yesterday, one would think that everything is fine. Someone is saying, Operation Restore Confidence. Another comment, Tim, his father was a policeman. Give the man a chance. LOL. Someone is recommending that the PM should give that portfolio to Sean Edwards. I do not think the PM is bothered by all these comments. And someone else says, exactly, they won't scale down. Keep them engaged in the bacchanal and they will forget the economic plight and the crime wave.
We have a caller from overseas. Via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Tim.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the US.
Mm.
I've been listening to your program. This is the first time calling.
Thanks for
Tim,
calling.
I am very disappointed. I don't even have words to describe what my country is going through right now. I am an ex-police officer. And what's going through the force now, I am so disappointed in it. That's my first point. The second one, I would like to hear from Cameron. I want Cameron to keep on doing that because this has been going on for years. And I think that it's time that those things stop completely. That shouldn't be going through. The security of our island, right? That's where the laws are. These are the people to man the laws of our island. And I'm very, very disappointed in what I'm hearing. Number two, I'm in total agreement with this lady who called yesterday saying that she will not return to St. Lucia. I'm not saying that I won't come back to St. Lucia. I won't visit St. Lucia. I will not say that. But this morning, I have a company back home. And this morning, one of my key workers called me and told me that there was some business that he had to conduct. He had all the information was there. His name, everything was there. But he went to a certain place and they're telling him that I have to do everything over because his middle name is missing. The lady has the ID in her hand, right? John Paul. You can see clearly it's John Paul. His driver's license is in her hand. But yet still, he couldn't conduct the business because his middle name is missing. That is going back into ancient ages. With what we go with technology now, that shouldn't be. That really shouldn't be. Right? But to end, I'm going back on this police thing. Team, please do some investigation, get some pressure. I think St. Lucians need to wake up and do something. This country that's not the way I knew my St. Lucia. That's not the way I knew it. And we need to do something about it. I'm saying we because I still consider myself a St. Lucian, and I'm disappointed in what's going on. Too much politics in everything in St. Lucia, and that is bad, very bad. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. We are awaiting some more of your calls once again at 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. That's 716-2026. We have another call coming in. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Yes. It's true. It seems that we have a prime minister that has some serious amnesia concerning crime.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The speech he just made there a while ago, right? He forgot that he was in opposition, right? You can remember about politicizing crime. You can remember Shazi. Who politicized crime more than Shazi and Kenny Anthony?
Listen, caller, if you're calling on the authorities, the government, to do better as far as its response to the crime problem of a country, you're not politicizing crime. You are saying that the security of the state is paramount. You have the resources of the state at your disposal. You're in a leadership position, in a position to make a difference and to lead the charge, lead the battle against crime. Please, at least manifest that, display that, show us that you're serious about fighting crime. And stop hiding behind the St. Lucian people, defenseless St. Lucian people, saying crime is our business and you must do this, you must do that. The Prime Minister is not saying he will lead, he's not demonstrating that he is a leader as far as dealing with the various problems that are impacting the country. Not only crime, because if we have a major problem in healthcare, pretty soon the Prime Minister will say to us, he's not a medical doctor, but you are the Prime Minister. Leadership is what is required whenever you have any problem at all, man-made or natural disaster. It's all about leadership.
Yeah, exactly. But exactly. So when there was an opposition, when the fact and Shazi was in government, he was heavily criticized in 2017 when the homicide reached 60. He got quite a lot of blows. And when Herman Gill went up against Kenny Anthony for the elections, that was public meeting all the time. The worst set of the highest rate of homicide, it was a public meeting when against Herman Gill as National Security Minister. They was heavily criticized. But going way back to 1998, it is always when the Labour Party is in office, that is when the homicide is at its highest. Right? Way back from 1998, when I think the homicides, before they came in office, I think it was 9 or 10. It went up to 20-something, and it kept going up and going up. It's always the worst set of homicides and always the highest. And I can remember back in 2010 when Stephen King at that time was Prime Minister, when they was trying to crack down on the crime business. I think it was sometime in March when the homicide was about skyrocketing. Okay? Stephen King tried his best to do something about it. Who went to the embassy, right, when the police took action in Beaufort? I think there were Operation Restore Confidence. Who went to the embassy and accused the police of what they accused the police of? It is all operatives of them. So it's always the worst. It's always when they're in office that the homicide goes the highest. But yet they're still talking about politicizing. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Let's see if we get another call on the air. No, we had a call coming in via WhatsApp. But continue to call us. We have another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
You played a clip, and I listened to this lady yesterday about she not coming back to St. Lucia. Did you tell her that the requirements that are needed to opening a bank account was not set by the government of St. Lucia? Did she know that?
I did not tell her that, caller. She's just lamenting that there's something that's in place, and we have to learn, that because something has been instituted and it's prescribed or it's been set up by the ECCB does not mean our governments cannot do anything about it, cannot make representation on our behalf. That's why you have governments in office.
Well, to tell you the truth, the governments of the Caribbean have made representation. You recall last year when there was that meeting with the Caribbean heads of government and the Congress people where Ms. Waters was in charge, and they were looking to see if they could change this. For her to blanketly say that, that it is the people of St. Lucia that's not giving her the service, it is a requirement. I have traveled to St. Lucia over 10 times for the year. And every time I go to the bank, I have to follow the instructions. I mean, to blanketly say that the people at the bank not helping her or whatever it is, it's incorrect because there are laws, there are procedures. She need to follow it. But what is most alarming is, what she didn't tell us is, and that is factual, Tim. Tim, I don't really go to the supermarket.
Don't give me the factual or not. Just state your opinion, caller. Let's move on.
Okay, good. A tin of corned beef in St. Lucia is cheaper than a tin of corned beef in the United States. A tin of carnation milk is cheaper in St. Lucia than it is in the United States. Cheese is cheaper in St. Lucia than it is in the United States.
How much is the tin of corned beef you purchase in St. Lucia? What's the cost?
What's the cost of a tin of corned beef?
In St. Lucia.
A tin of corned beef for $4.99, $5.99 in St. Lucia.
No, I don't think
No.
In the United States. No, hold on. You can't get a tin of corned beef anymore for $4 and something cents. I think it's $5 odd, $5 upwards.
I will take that.
Not $4.
I will take that.
But how much is the tin
of corned beef? $7.99, $9.99.
How much for one in the States?
The bottle of...
How much of a tin of corned beef in the States? Which one? How much?
The price.
How much?
Libby, $7.99.
Okay. So it's dollar for dollar, caller. Hold on. It's dollar for dollar, right?
No, but she's making it low.
I'm just saying to you, it is dollar for dollar. If it is $5 if you could get one for $5 something in St. Lucia, in the States you get it for $7 something. It's dollar for dollar.
That's correct. So it's much more expensive. Dollar for dollar is much more expensive. Am I correct?
And I like to believe it's a little cheaper in the United States,
Okay, I'll take some photos and bring for you.
But I mean, to make a long story short,
yeah,
she has been living in the States for a while, and she's comparing life in the U.S. to that in St. Lucia and how she grew up in St. Lucia. And also, what you must take into consideration, the United States is vast. This is a 2x4 country, and we cannot manage it. That is the problem. That is at the heart of the problem. We can't manage our public transport system. Okay? 2 little vehicles. We can't manage them properly. Okay? We can manage 2 little criminals. Right? In the United States, you have terrorists, you have all kind of people, different gangs and so on. Okay? in the United States, you have what? Over 300 million people in St. Lucia. We have a problem with our birth rate. Okay? So that's the issue. That is the issue. Management is the issue, caller. Management is the issue.
Management is the issue. You know what? Since you want to compare the United States to St. Lucia, which I seldom do.
But you just compared corned beef with corned beef from St. Lucia and the States.
No, I'm with you. I'm going. What I want to tell you is like this. Simple, straightforward. I personally, and a lot of St. Lucians will tell you, that the cost of living is 10 times cheaper in St. Lucia than it is in the United States.
10 times cheaper?
The people in Canada, yes.
The wages. In terms of the wages, the peanuts that people are being paid in St. Lucia, you think they're being paid that in the U.S.? The fact that you have the ability in the United States and Canada to work, to have 3 jobs. In St. Lucia, most times you can't even get 1 job. The opportunities are there. No, caller. The opportunities are there in those countries compared to St. Lucia.
Let me explain that to you. People are still fighting to get $15 an hour in New York, in the middle of the country. In the middle of the country. And we're talking about Tennessee, Arkansas, Indiana. You know what's the average minimum pay over there? As said by the federal government, $5.71. $5.71. And that is, you could research it, you know. We believe that because people in the United States they live a better life than in St. Lucia, that's not factual. That's not true.
But anyway, caller, the bigger picture is I don't want to belabor the point. The bigger issue is we want life to be better in St. Lucia than what currently obtains. That for me is the big issue, and every leader must aspire to ensure that the country, the people, they have their living conditions are a lot better than anywhere else. I think that's how we can succeed and prosper as a country.
There are places in the United States where people have to go and draw water for 20 miles. They do not have pipe-borne water to their house. They still use outside houses in Mississippi.
Yeah, but so many people have pipes in St. Lucia and they don't have potable water in their taps, caller. Come on, man. Come on. So many people have the infrastructure. So many people have the infrastructure and they do not have potable water running through the taps.
Timothy, sometimes we have to weigh every aspect of the thing.
Including leadership. Including leadership. Including accountability.
Listen to me.
Including if you go to some prisons in the U.S., you'll find some politicians there. In St. Lucia's, only poor people from Marcia and Slurry, Dennery, and so on were in prison. Okay? And then now, you have politicians on the outside accusing each other of being corrupt. Does that make sense to you?
Let me explain something to you. Okay?
1 minute.
When you know I've called your show many times. I never call nobody corrupt. I have said there are things that I've done.
I'm not speaking about you. I'm stating a fact that politicians are accusing each other of being corrupt in St. Lucia, and none of the politicians, we don't have one politician in prison. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying, not about you. It's not about you.
What I am saying is, if there is anything that is not done above board, then the person must answer for it. That's my position. That's what I've always said.
Again, you're dodging my point, okay? You're dodging my point, and my point is politicians are accusing each other of being corrupt without evidence. They accuse each other of being corrupt, and we don't have any politician behind bars right now for the alleged acts of corruption. That's what I'm saying to you.
That's what you're saying to me.
Yes,
and I'm
sir.
telling you what's my position. I'm telling you my position. My position is anything that is not done above board must be questioned and must be investigated. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, sir. Appreciate your point of view. Let's move on. No. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, we just have some information there extracted from the Prime Minister's Facebook page. And he says there, today I met with officers of the Customs and Excise Department to show solidarity after the vicious attack of one of their colleagues. I strongly condemn the recent shooting of a dedicated customs officer an individual who's simply carrying out their duty to protect our borders and ensure the safety of our communities. This act of violence is not only a senseless act, but also an attack on the very fabric of law and order that holds our society together. It is deeply troubling that such an incident has occurred, and it is our collective responsibility to stand against any form of violence targeting those who serve and protect. I wish to extend my best wishes to the officer as he receives medical attention. My thoughts are with his family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. Furthermore, I strongly denounce any glorification or encouragement of violence and criminality from any individual, including public figures and those entrusted to represent the people of this country. Words have power, and leaders must use their platform responsibly, promoting unity, respect, and peaceful solutions to conflicts. So, what is he getting at? I'm just taking a break from this because the Prime Minister is making reference there to public officials because he just must politicize it and then accuse other people of politicizing it. You have so many people who are being acting so irresponsibly in St. Lucia based on what they have been saying over the last few days and few weeks. And you're making reference, Mr. Prime Minister, to public officials. You're not paying attention towards what is appearing on social media. So continuing, I trust that the authorities will continue to thoroughly investigate this incident and others that have plagued our country and bring the perpetrators to justice. I have committed to deploying local, regional, and international resources to arrest these cowardly attacks. At no point should these criminals feel so emboldened, and we will redouble our efforts to ensure that justice is served. Violence has no place in this country. It is through a collective effort, rooted in compassion and respect for one another, that we can build a safer and more harmonious society for all. I will continue to support our law enforcement agencies by providing them with the necessary resources to ensure citizen security. Let us practice and demand a culture of peace, tolerance, and appreciation for those who dedicate their lives to public service. So, Prime Minister, what we need from you is leadership. We need some action as far as your response to the island's crime problem, where almost everyone is a target. I think we're due for a break. We have not taken a break yet. You are watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page. We are also on YouTube, and you are listening to the program on Power 97.9 FM. The question is our Prime Minister a uniter, or is he a divider? Stay with us. Chat room, there's a comment by the former National Security Minister, Herman Gil Francis, and it reads, "This customs officer should have been flown over to Martinique for specialist treatment. It has been done for ministers, so why not an officer serving the state? I remember Mary Isaac and Gail Rigobert arranging for Jeremiah Norbert to be sent to Martinique, even after he had declared his intention to contest the Miku seat. This is the least we can do for this officer." Any more comments in the chat room, Kimani?
We do have a few more. Someone says, "This is the first PM I have absolutely no respect for. Me to have no sense of leadership." Another comment, someone says, "The Prime Minister went to Customs to talk about what happened to the customs officer yesterday. That's good. But what about the policewomen who have said they were sexually harassed by the top police official?" Another comment, "If you are not a divider PJP in the world of maths, you are a multiplier. So subtract yourself from that position and do some addition to keep us safe immediately." Someone says, "But the Prime Minister himself isn't using his platform to promote unity. He has ghosted the people of St. Lucia." Another comment, "Why not make a public statement? I don't go on his page and hundreds of other people's pages." And someone says, "I wonder if the customs officer who was recently attacked can tell us who poured water into the scanner to prevent it from being used to scan incoming barrels that are used to bring in illegal guns and ammunition." Another comment, "St. Lucia has a whole hero of room for improvement." Caller, "You know very well when supermarkets buy in bulk, they get good discount prices, especially if one buys directly from the factories." Someone says, "Caller, why foreigners complain about high prices in St. Lucia when their currency is over 3 times our dollar? Lucians are working for peanuts compared to you abroad."
A WhatsApp message, "So many people who have died through gun violence, and I don't see the Prime Minister going to the families and show his sympathy." Sigh, shaking my head. In defense of the Prime Minister, I mean, if he were to go to all those families, considering so many homicides, he will not have any time to perform his duties as the leader of the country. And that in itself would indicate the magnitude of the problem that we are experiencing at this point in time as far as crime is concerned and the number of people who are succumbing to various forms of violence.
Someone says, "I am very familiar with the operations of the police force, and Cameron should definitely stay on that matter with the acting TOP. You can't be leading the organization and being investigated for such matters. Do the right thing and step down." A bunch of police officers who did no real police work and was pushed to the top by affiliations. Someone says, "PJP said he would be ready to govern this country from day one. I guess day one is not here as yet. He is still waiting for day one to get here. SMDH." Let's see. "The Prime Minister is sharing the responsibility of crime with us, but he is not sharing the salary." Someone says, "Tim, based on what you said, Shazi should still be calling. Why is he not worried about crime anymore?" Someone is recommending we need a 10 to 20 year plan that will seek to advance the country, transform towns into cities and villages into towns. We need to incorporate trees and greenery into those cities and towns, incorporate parks and not these tea boutique parks, a proper park with trees, benches and trails. For this to happen, our mindset must change. We must be willing to let go of the past and move to a better future. We must also put legislation in place so that if government changes hands, they cannot interfere with the parliamentary voted plans unless there is a justifiable reason to make better adjustments. Too many politicians are driven by their hatred for the opposite side, that anything the opposition side implemented must be abolished. Someone says, "Thanks, caller. It was also said that on their platform that if I win the seat, I will come and take all the guns from them." The cost of living is lower in St. Lucia. Meanwhile, people are ordering because things are cheaper online.
A WhatsApp message, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." The quote being attributed to Martin Luther King Jr. If this is how things continue, then we are heading for destruction. When there is a leader with no vision, the people perish. Let's take this WhatsApp call. Hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Tim.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Tim, could I make my contribution by way of a song? 2 minutes?
Do whatever you want. As long as it's clean, it's acceptable.
All right, here we go, huh?
Why them fellas keep forgetting? I will have them keep on remembering. They criticize before they got to office. They totally lying to deceive them. What's no good for the country? And you say the same thing for Madrid. You said the tricks was bad for politics. Now you want the same table with me. King was so incompetent. You walked out of parliament. You criticize abortion and restore confidence. Now criminals don't play with me. They committing crime with impunity. One man can stay alive. They can't reach the age of 25. And it's so sad, of course. Police calling criminals boss. Do you remember? Do you remember? The exchange of words that you had with Richard Cedric. I tell you, do you remember? Do you remember? You know what I know, and I know what you know. And do you remember? You said criminals in the government. Do you remember? You question all the land of police development. If you can measure, tell me, you have been serving in that same ministry. But just for power, the politicians get a measure. Just for power, the politicians get a measure. Oh,
Hello?
Okay, caller, that's your contribution?
Yeah, Tim, that's my contribution.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
But you could have performed the song yourself. Anyway, thank you so much for calling, sir.
No problem.
All right, somebody
No
in the chat,
problem.
somebody in the chat room said that's the first for NewsSpin and quite innovative. We have a call. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, these people, the Prime Minister is not ready yet. The persons in his party are inciting violence. So what else should we expect in the country? What else should we expect in the country? Nothing but violence. The young people are learning from the ministers. And that is what they are preaching, violence. That's all they're preaching. Nothing else. That's my contribution, Tim.
Okay, caller, thank you so much. Somebody says their condolences to the officer's family, but this was not a random shooting. Another comment. Can you believe staying on a long line at the Castries Health Center just to get to the pharmacy, only to find out no pressure medication available? Also, a PE uniform for a primary school child is $105. We parents, we finish. Let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
And the young lady you have, what's her name?
By now, you don't know her name? Kimani.
Hello, caller.
Kimani, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Tim, I heard a caller. It sounds like Bailey. But another problem with Bailey, you know. He calling your program with all what that is happening with crime, and more crime. Why he didn't try to sympathize with the custom officer? A custom officer after work was going to his house and got shot. Praise God, he's well and he's at the hospital. Why he didn't send sympathy, to the family? Number two, the St. Lucia Labour Party, for a customs officer that working morning, noon, and night to generate revenue for the country, was shot. In my opinion, Tim, these guys should be flown to Martinique immediately with our tax money. In the Labour Party government, you had people that was flown on our tax money, and you're telling me this man got shot, and you couldn't fly the man to Martinique? You're not, as Prime Minister, not even addressing the crime situation is not nobody's fault. We need help in this country. And Mr. Bailey now coming on and trying to compare the United States of America with St. Lucia. The point I want to make to Bailey must be have 3 to 4 jobs in the United States, and he even have another job now to defend the St. Lucia Labour Party government. I would ask Bailey to come and spend 6 months in St. Lucia right now with the inflation and the taxes and the gas prices and many other things that affecting our nation. And I'm talking about man, woman, and child in this country. We need Bailey to stop calling your program and trying to make people feel in the United States that St. Lucia is all well and good. Mr. Bailey, things are hard in St. Lucia. People are suffering in St. Lucia. You understand? You in America living a wealthy life, and yet still, you all do not like America, but you're living in America, working 3 to 4 jobs, and you still have a job calling on the behalf of your party that's supporting, and people are suffering in the country. Mr. Bailey, you better stop that. Stop that, man. And Tim, you give Mr. Bailey enough time. And the time that you give him, he got me upset. Because you're talking about corn, beef, and this, that, and the other. Mr. Bailey, I know for a fact, and you know, there's certain times in the year, there's trucks passing all over the state, giving free food to unprivileged people. And there's some people in St. Lucia that could do without that, and they're still taking it. All over the world, in big countries, you're getting free food when you cannot afford. And most of those people that send on some of them items to St. Lucia. Mr. Bailey, if I lie, tell me I lie. You're getting it too good in America, and people in St. Lucia are suffering. And you're telling me, sir, we're better off in St. Lucia? How we could be better off in St. Lucia when the price of gas is going down on the world market and it's high in St. Lucia? And we're paying taxes for the country to run. Look now, they're dropping a 2.5% in our throat. It's going to make people even get poorer in St. Lucia. So they need to stop that.
Okay, caller.
I have a problem with that.
Thank you so much. Somebody says there, I can see a disaster waiting to happen on the road when you're coming down the Morn. I can see the road is sinking. I think the engineers in the infrastructure ministry should pay some attention to this. All right, let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says that, Tim, whatever happened to the case with the police officer who was ambushed and killed? Now the minister is being followed. Customs officer getting shot. Mr. Prime Minister, break the criminal ties. It has gotten worse. We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
And listeners all over the world. PW is on the line.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to Kimani this afternoon. Timothy, you played a clip with Philip J. Pierre talking of criticizing the opposition and saying that they want to politicize crime, Timothy. Tell me, what part of the solar system or what part of the galaxy this interview was conducted, Timothy? Because I cannot believe it was on Earth in St. Lucia, Timothy. Timothy, you know, you hear the hacks calling your show, and to them, especially Mr. Bailey, the St. Lucia Labour Party can do no wrong. There is nothing they have done wrong. Defend them to the teeth. But he's not hearing how that you have hacks coming on the nationwide television and threatening people and actually talking about crime and what they can do. It looks as if these people have their own police station. They have their own police officers. They have their courthouses. They have their own laws, Timothy, and their own juries. You know, to come on nationwide television and say what they would do to certain people if certain people attack certain people, this is ludicrous. What we have to do in this country is to clean up this country. Clean up the crime in this country, Timothy. We have to start from the politicians to the businessmen and to the average person, criminal in the ghetto. We need people of integrity and vision to lead this country, Timothy. So now, customs officers have been targeted, police officers have been targeted, politicians, you heard a politician say he was actually unfollowed, so the politicians are being targeted now. But Timothy, when you have politicians, police officers, business people, when they have skeletons in the closet, what do you expect them to do? Take, for example, the police force, Timothy. Let us deal with the police force. Timothy, there are police officers, a lot of them that have skeletons in the closet, you know. So when a senior or a junior officer does something bad, and that police officer threatens that police officer to report that police officer, you know what that police officer will say? Listen, I know about your dirty work a year ago or 6 months ago. If you report me, I can squeal on you. So nothing gets done in the country, and he holds back. So crime continues unabated, Timothy. We need to clean up this country, as I have said, and Philip J. Pierre is in no position to do the job, Timothy. He should resign from this portfolio immediately, forthwith, so this country can be a safer, better place for all. Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you so much. According to somebody says via WhatsApp, with the homicide situation, it's concerning. But what is more concerning for me is the liberty we seem to have to kill. I recalled customs officers seizing hundreds of thousands of US dollars from individuals, and they were not fearful for their lives. This criminal has become emboldened. I know this customs officer as an honest and high-performing individual. I believe he was attacked because he was doing his job. Shooting someone for doing their job? You're watching NewsSpin right here on our NewsSpin Facebook page as well as on YouTube. We are also being listened to on Power 97.9 FM. When we come back, we'll answer the question, is Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre a uniter or a divider?
Exceeding your expectations is what we strive for at Lazarus Funeral Home. Losing a loved one isn't something you can foresee. Since the beginning, affordability has been one of our priorities. Every day we're proving that burials don't have to be expensive. If cost is a factor in your time of bereavement, call Lazarus Funeral Home. We have coffins starting at $800 plus taxes. Nothing can cause more disappointment than poor quality. Help us help you keep your last memory of your loved one sacred. Make it special. Make it Lazarus Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Located at Bibliotheque Castries at 452-7491 and New Dock Road V4 at 454-6555.
Contact Lucelec before trimming or cutting down trees that are near overhead electrical wires. Watch out for power lines before you begin working on a ladder. Be sure that ladders or scaffolds are far enough away so that you and the ends of the tools you're using don't come within 10 feet of power lines. And never use any electrical appliance in wet surrounding outdoors or in the rain.
This message is brought to you by Lucelec, the power of care.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Glow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
One of the biggest events for St. Lucia's Carnival has returned. Rum Bucket Waterland. More water, more paint, more foam. Sunday, 16th July at Gaiety Grounds from 11 p.m. Small coolers will be allowed, but no ice, no chaser. Must be 18 and older to enter. ID will be checked. Your ticket outlets are Steve's Barbershop and all the sell outlets. Rum Bucket Waterland. That's when we reach the waterfront. We doing whatever the hell we want. Get ready for more water, more paint, and more foam. Sponsored by KFC, Digicel, and White Oak.
Glass Supermarket continues to be your family-oriented local supermarket which spares no effort to affordably bring you the world.
Trust Glass.
For quality and friendly service.
Trust Glass.
For daily excellent specials and fantastic prices.
Trust Glass.
For the best quality bread. Check out Glass for your delicious French pastries and meals.
Also, you must know that Glass caters for your special occasion with these quality French pastries and cakes.
Be sure to earn points on your Glass card as we say thank you for your support, St. Lucia. Glass Supermarket, contact number 452-8814.
Plastic Solutions, catering to all your commercial and domestic plastic and paper bag needs. We also manufacture printed and non-printed plastic bags. Located on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway, Plastic Solutions is an environmentally friendly company because of its high standard plastic recycling process. For orders and inquiries, please call 758-451-5577 or visit us on the cul-de-sac Bexo Highway.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Ouais, messieurs, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow, hein. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tank, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pump. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni tout pump pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pump en cette ici. Yo ka ranger pump aussi qui besoin service. Brand pump yo c'est Léo. Pump ça c'est Major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moi actuellement. Gloka Fonte. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452-0763.
I'm not in the business of division. I'm not in the business of division. I'm not in the business of division.
Think the Prime Minister really believes that? When, for example, you're addressing party faithfuls over in Sufra, I think it was last year, and he said you must taunt supporters of the United Workers' Party. Go to them and say, we beat you. We beat you. And you're a divider. I mean, I need not even get those clips where you have said things that are likely to divide the country as opposed to bring us, the people, together. And if the Prime Minister was a statesman, if the Prime Minister was a uniter, I believe that St. Lucians would not have any difficulty in rallying around the Prime Minister or rallying with the Prime Minister to tackle this crime problem. But every time the Prime Minister speaks, he speaks as the political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party instead of as the Prime Minister of this country. There have been instances in the past when you heard Sir John Compton speaking in Parliament or addressing the nation, you got the impression that this is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Dr. Kenny Anthony, he did it very often. Come across as cerebral, as an individual, was not divisive, did not care about the party, at least for the moment, but concerned about the people. Also, Alan Chasney did it. Before him, Stevenson King did it. But true to form, this Prime Minister continues to be in campaign mode almost 2 years after the last general election. And so, beyond the shadow of a doubt, and the evidence is there, go get the clips, listen to them, and you'd realize that contrary to what he said yesterday just before the sitting of the House of Assembly, that the Prime Minister, unfortunately, is not a uniter, but a divider. Now, it's not too late for him to become a uniter, because that is what is required at particular junctures in a country. What we're going through right now, this St. Lucian epoch, what we're going through, the experience warrants somebody who can coalesce around the people, who can bring the people together, and who can lead to help us deal with this problem that we're experiencing right now. When you simply call on St. Lucians to join the fight against crime, most people, one, they have reasons to be in that state of mind. They are afraid. Two, they do not have much trust and confidence in law enforcement. And also, fear of victimization is another problem that people continue to experience in St. Lucia. Despite the fact that we claim a democracy, you really can't speak your mind. And when you do that, rest assured, a group of people, the cabal, they are planning for you. You will not get certain opportunities to do certain things. If you care about hobnobbing with the socialites and going out, you'll not get any opportunity to go to certain functions. You will be seen as them versus us. Because for some people in this country, what comes first? Whether you're a supporter of this party or that party, it is not whether you are a St. Lucian. It's not being a St. Lucian. This guy is a St. Lucian. They see you as a Sousa. Somebody who's not supporting the SLP. You are not one of us. They say very often, you're not one of us. And it asks the question, why are you so critical? Why are you criticizing our Prime Minister? So we have to criticize the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister is worthy of criticism. And I think in his quiet moments, if he's honest with himself, he'll say, I deserve what I'm getting from certain quarters. When you have a leader, as far as complacency is concerned, you cannot be tolerant of that. And you have to be very critical of your leader, whether he's the leader of some sporting organization, the leader of a church. You have to be critical of your leader. And most times you're critical of your leader because you want your leader to do better. But in St. Lucia, as particularly in the case of our Prime Minister, he cannot stand the scrutiny, and also he cannot stand the level of criticism that he's being subjected to. Let's continue with your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and of course your discussions in the chat room as you continue to watch NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page and listen to us on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube. Kimani, what's happening as far as the comments are concerned?
Someone says Cabot should be the government of St. Lucia because Cabot cares. A few comments on YouTube. Someone says these same states he mentioned have a low pay rate that have a low pay rate have a lower cost of living. Another comment from YouTube saying the cost of living in the U.S. is higher is a blanket statement. Another comment on YouTube, someone says, just Google the minimum wage in the U.S. set by the federal government, 15 U.S. per hour. A comment in the chat room, someone says, Tim, the 2.5% VAT is on shoes, clothes, and fabric. Who is buying these things? The poor people. I'm certainly sure parents have to buy school items until August, so who is feeling the pinch? And they are quiet. Another comment, the PM says he's looking for ways to generate income. That's why he's implementing the 2.5% VAT. So why not take a pay cut on their salary instead of taking it off on the poor people?
Now, as far as this levy is concerned, they continue to describe it as a health and security levy. Health and security levy. But not so. According to private sector officials who recently had a discussion with technocrats in the government. So, despite we hearing from government ministers and the Prime Minister that it's a health and security levy, just want to reiterate the point that it is not so, according to those technocrats. And let's listen to what the Executive Director of the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Brian Louisi, said just recently after a meeting with Ministry of Finance officials regarding this 2.5% levy.
The business community generally understands why the need for extra revenue as there is a budget deficit. The business community, however, generally does. And we're hoping that this would have been an earmarked tax that would go directly towards improvement in the health and security sectors where there's an appreciation for that to happen. However, it was indicated that this was not an earmarked tax, and it is really just going to cover current expenditures and projected expenditures, and that there would be no specific new initiatives that would have brought in that enhancement.
So this is not primarily a health and security levy, as we are being told by the Prime Minister. Let us hear from the MP for VA4 North, Mr. Moses Jean-Baptiste, who is also the island's health minister. And he says that as far as the levy is concerned, people believe government is on the right track. Now, I'm not in a position to say that is not true. Maybe we need a poll to be conducted, but based on the calls we've been getting on this broadcast, since the Prime Minister made the announcement, people are just disappointed that there'll be an imposition of a 2.5% levy on some of the items that they'll be purchasing as of August of this year. Let's listen to Moses Jean-Baptiste.
All kinds of accusations have been leveled at this government. But the question is, Mr. Speaker, whether the people of St. Lucia truly believe that they must make a contribution to health and to security. And we see it all the time. We see it, Mr. Speaker. We hear the people of St. Lucia, and we know the people of St. Lucia believe that this government is on the right track. All kinds of accusations have been leveled at this government. But the question is, Mr. Speaker, whether the people of St. Lucia truly believe that they must make a contribution to health and to security. And we see it all the time. We see it, Mr. Speaker. We hear the people of St. Lucia, and we know the people of St. Lucia believe that this government is on the right track.
MP for VA4 North and Minister with Responsibility for Health, Mr. Moses Jean-Baptiste, speaking in the island's parliament yesterday. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And, of course, your comments in the chat room. Kimani will continue to go through those comments, and I'll be going through your WhatsApp messages as well. Let me see. I think I'm just about to go through a call, a WhatsApp call. So, okay, let's go to that WhatsApp call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Yes,
how are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you, sir.
And good afternoon to your lovely Kimani.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Timothy,
I am not surprised at anything the Prime Minister says. And if you can recall, as I can, you said that with regards to security, his father was a policeman. He was not. He is not a policeman. So nothing from his father rubbed off on him. Nevertheless, this morning I was listening to Dr. Virginia Albert on another radio station referring to the accusation of alleged accusation against the acting commissioner of police. And she said that she has done absolutely nothing because nobody, meaning none of the women, have come forward to her, and therefore she doesn't see the need to get involved. And I was surprised at that, because not only she's a woman, I think that in a position as minister, she should be really concerned to actually initiate an investigation into the matters. And if she wasn't concerned so much about the woman, she should be concerned about defending the reputation of the police force when the head of the police force is being accused or allegedly accused of such things, and should be interested in finding out and getting to the bottom of it and clear the air if he's innocent or guilty. But this government is lost, because I cannot believe that a minister would say that nobody has come forward when this matter has been in the airwaves and circulated around the world for so long. And she has said she has done nothing. And most of what she said this morning on the program with regards to her ministry, she has done nothing that even she has not even stated a new policy since she has taken up the ministry of anything, whether it regards to immigration or security or women's affairs. Nothing she related with regards to policy. All she says was left to the various departments and what they have been doing and what they've not been doing. So I think St. Lucia must look at these things seriously. And if we are electing people and we are putting people in position, I sometimes wonder, the Prime Minister, every time he opens his mouth, he says something that you wonder what is going on. By now, I would like to sympathize with the Customs Department, particularly the Customs officer. Wish him get well greetings and hope that he survives this ordeal. But really and truly, it's sad when you have these things happening in St. Lucia, where people cannot do their work honestly and being attacked. So, Timothy, I really think we're in bad shape. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, Connor. Let's see if we have any comments from you, Kimani, from the chat room.
Let's see. Someone says in the chat room, hold on one second.
In fact, before you continue, someone says we are making contributions towards the roads and it's not being repaired.
Another comment in parenting is the main contributor of crime. Politicians divide the people to gain power. They should be held accountable for their messages and actions. Let's see. Corned beef and tuna fish and saltfish are no longer poor people's food. Saltfish is $12 US a pound in St. Lucia. We need better, more efficient healthcare systems where hopefully there won't be a need to use medevac to fly to other countries. Another comment in the chat room, someone says St. Lucia is like a volcano that is about to erupt. Those who have to speak on our behalf are not. When the voiceless become too frustrated, they will then erupt. Someone says fear of victimization is the norm right now in St. Lucia. There are so many people who reach out to me privately, and when I ask them why they're saying nothing, they explain it's because they fear the backlash for themselves and their family members. This is very troubling because everyone felt they had to criticize the last administration, but they fear this one. Interesting for lack of a better word. Let's see. Virginia is the Minister of Gender Affairs. This is her job to investigate an accusation. That is about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Kimani, for your service. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Before we go on to our NewsSpin news of the day. Okay, our NewsSpin news of the day. India CEO criticized for picking AI bot over human staff. Once again, our NewsSpin news of the day. India CEO criticized for picking artificial intelligence bot over human staff. This has been your NewsSpin news of the day and your broadcast for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for contributing via your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Join me this evening, 7 o'clock on DBS television for the DBS News World and 8:30 Newsmaker Live. See you then. Goodbye.